Hi everybody, this is Lee, and with this video I'm addressing some of the election fraud that did occur in the 2016 election, and that bringing emphasis on the fact that there is a DNC fraud lawsuit happening right now. It was launched last summer following the end of the Democratic primary between Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and Martin O'Malley, that the leaks provided and published by Guccifer and also Julian Assange provided fuel for launching that lawsuit. That many people discovered quite a bit of malfeasance occurred in what was advertised as a fair contest, with the candidate soliciting donations and the party itself soliciting donations. And then we find, and the party also making use of public taxpayer funds to run the contest. And that it was revealed that there was some amount of rigging, cheating, and fraud, possible racketeering happening during the Democratic primary. And so that's the lawsuit. Allegations of fraud, deceptive practice, things like this, and more evidence is being uncovered. And so I touched on that previously several times on this channel. And then there was a silence from both parties involved in that lawsuit, a long gap of silence. And so it's regained public notice again because there's action being taken. And I'll provide links so you can follow what's happening during the course of that DNC fraud lawsuit. And then I've also touched on recently what occurred during the fall 2016 election because of Kris Kobach being nominated to a newly formed commission under the Trump administration, the Federal Commission on Voting Integrity, and the issues surrounding how Kobach's mechanism triggered a lot of vote suppression during the fall election. And so the ACLU is addressing that. They have a press release on their website. ACLU takes legal action over Trump Election Commission, his executive order. And so the ACLU is on top of that, I'm glad to report. But for right now, I'm going to point out the DNC, what occurred during the DNC Democratic primary, and that there are many sources to look at. One of which is a PDF, very detailed, of statistics, information, research by election experts who followed the course of the DNC or the Democratic primary and took time to do detailed research and gather statistics and accumulate sufficient anecdotal evidence to conclude that it was not a fair contest. I'm going to post a link to this document. It's called Democracy Lost. And it was put together by a group called Election Justice USA. And what it is a report on the fatally flawed 2016 Democratic primaries. And I'm talking about this once again because there is renewed focus on attempting to take back the Democratic Party, to run candidates against incumbents in the next set of Democratic primaries for the fall of 2018, and that there are issues to address. Many of them are outlined in this document, Democracy Lost: the use of the vote machines, the use of the cross-check system to delete certain or suppress or switch parties, and then also other forms of vote suppression, intimidation that were used to rig the vote. And so I'm recommending that people review this and understand that election fraud is an issue and that if someone gets away with it once, apparently they will continue to make attempts to get away with it, and then even escalate unless it's addressed. And so, for those of you who are running candidates, it does have to be addressed, or your candidate will not make it out of the primary. And that we have seen from the DNC lawsuit that representatives of the Democratic Party are saying, well, the person we want to make it out of the primary is who makes it out of the primary. And so, if you want to look and examine all these mechanisms that were put into place in 2016 to actually throttle Bernie Sanders, who, based on what we see here, that he was the actual winner of the Democratic primary, you can see the numerous triggers that were used to block his win, and then contemplate how to address that in time for the fall 2018 Democratic primaries. Because if it's not addressed, then it's very unlikely that a progressive primary challenger will be able to make it through without experiencing similar happenings in their contest. And so that's for the primary for fall 2018. The other examination of Donald Trump's voting integrity thing that he put together all of a sudden, that's something that needs to be addressed for the fall 2018 actual general election, when the field widens beyond the Democratic primary and the Democratic challengers. So I highly recommend that these documents be viewed and studied, and then an acknowledgement that election fraud is a thing, that it has been done in the past, and that it may be done in the future, and there has to be some determination to confront that if there's to be any success at the ballot box. And so I do wish everyone the very best of luck in addressing these issues. Good luck.